Good afternoon, everybody. Dr. Misty Kosciuszko here. Thanks so much for joining me today. We're going to talk about a really great topic, something that I wish I knew years ago, and it's going to help all you guys help curb those sugar cravings and help you guys kick that sugar addiction. It's no wonder why our bodies are more addicted to sugar. Pretty much everything out there nowadays, if you look at drinks, sport drinks, things we have in vending machines, what's readily available to us is typically very high in sugar. And if it doesn't say sugar on the back of it, then it's high fructose corn syrup. There's just a lot of products that just quickly escalate our blood sugar levels. So we're getting more into, I'm seeing more and more sugar addiction, and something that I've suffered with myself. So I'm going to give you guys 3 protocols that I would literally give a patient who came into my office that was suffering with this. Okay. Now just know that, there can be a lot of reasons behind sugar addiction as well. Some of them being genetic defects in some of your dopamine receptors. It can be an overgrowth of candida and yeast. It can be from nutrient deficiencies from parasitic levels. It can be there can be a multitude of things and reasons behind it, but this is going to be very helpful in supporting you guys. Okay. And so I'm going to jump right in, and the top ones that I'm going to tell you is actually a nutrient deficiency. So zinc and magnesium both are important for insulin and glucose metabolism. So if your body is lacking zinc and magnesium, that's definitely a supplement that you want to be taking. A lot of symptoms that we get in our bodies just overall can be very linked to nutrient deficiencies, believe it or not. We have key nutrients that are vitamins and minerals. So if you're lacking these, they're meant for specific enzymes for different things in your body. So zinc and magnesium are definitely part of not only glucose, but immunity, fighting. They have many different roles in our body. So zinc and magnesium would absolutely be on the top tier of what you want to be thinking of taking to manage sugar cravings and sugar addiction. Okay. The next one would be L-glutamine. Okay. We're talking more about proteins and amino acids. So L-glutamine is helpful in the glucose metabolism as well. And so typically this is going to really help to curb those intense sugar cravings. This is also used for people who are, a natural supplement, or for people who are coming off any type of addiction, whether it's smoking, drinking, gambling, whatever it may be. This is really great for, it's all the same type of blood chemistry and all has to do with your dopamine levels in your brain. So this is going to be really helpful for you guys if you can start implementing these. And the last ones are DL or just D-phenylalanine. I'm going to type these out for you guys below so that you can understand what they are, and also give you a link if you want for supplements if you're interested in this, and L-tyrosine. So again, these are amino acids, but they are the building blocks of what dopamine is. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter, that feel good neurotransmitter. So you get dopamine rushes when you naturally, like a runner's high. There's more to it when it's a runner's high, but naturally with drugs, alcohol, caffeine, sugar, that's what you're tapping into, is a specific part of your pleasure centers in your brain. And so what we really want to do is help support those pathways. So just coming off sugar can be really intense and really painful. And I've experienced firsthand with trying to come off of it in trying to just eliminate it, and how you literally can get withdrawal symptoms. It's certainly not pleasurable, and I think that's why a lot of people fear coming off of sugar or coming off of any of their addictions because they fear the withdrawal. Even if you want to be done with it, you fear going through that withdrawal process. So this is going to absolutely help support you, giving your body what it needs to get those levels of dopamine up, and your levels of glucose up as well, and giving you some of that glucose support. So sugar addiction is kind of a combination of things. It's a combination of dietary things. And then if there's no other underlying things that are causing your body to crave that sugar, and it's just more genetic defect, then your body needs to have that support in those neurological pathways and with those neurotransmitters in order for you to feel comfortable while coming off sugar. And obviously it's a slow process. So you want to take these supplements as you're starting to wean yourself down off of sugar. And the other thing I might recommend is if you're somebody who, when I was struggling with it, I was eating more chocolate, switching to only dark chocolate, like an organic dark chocolate. So that will actually still stimulate the dopamine, but it will take out a lot of the unhealthy aspects of the chocolate or sugar. So switching to something that's a little bit healthier first and then starting to wean down. If you are somebody also who's struggling with sugar addiction, if this resonates with you and you find this helpful, what I'm telling you, if you can please, share with your friends, click that love button, tag your friends. This is just an astronomical epidemic that people are suffering with right now. Our food systems and pretty much, you look at things on our menus nowadays and just the level of sugars, it's just so much is readily available to us, and people don't even realize how much sugar they're intaking per day. And it's getting worse and worse at this point. So, and obviously there's the link to chronic disease, diabetes, things like that. These are all things that are escalating as well. So they're all linked to each other, and sugar is also highly inflammatory. This is one thing that when I started to get this under control a little bit more, I started to really see my symptoms reduce because I wasn't getting that chronic inflammation aspect of the sugar. So this could really help a lot of people. And if you guys want to be part of that, I really would appreciate you guys sharing. The other thing I wanted to share with you is that another reason why people get hooked into sugar addiction too is because of their blood sugar levels. So sometimes if somebody doesn't know if they either are pre-diabetic or diabetic, and they have what's called reactive hypoglycemia, okay? So this is kind of the precursor to type 2 diabetes, not necessarily diabetes, but definitely we're on that roller coaster, right? This type of roller coaster with our blood sugar. So that means we're having high amounts of glucose, high fructose corn syrup, whatever it is, and we're not getting enough either proteins or fats or fibers in our diet to help balance our blood sugar. This is personally why I think the ketogenic diet is really great. Because it helps so much with leveling blood sugar. So for people who are can do it well with healthy foods and healthy fats, that's a great option. Again, you want to work into that if you have sugar addiction, but one way to stop sugar addiction too is working on looking at your diet and seeing how much carbohydrate, fat, and protein that you have in your meals. So if you are somebody who is having just as simple as a bowl or two of cereal in the morning, you might be starting your day out in more setting yourself up for that reactive hypoglycemia, okay? And what that means is your body is not getting enough fiber, and it's the carbohydrates that you're taking in are so refined that your blood sugar is going to rise very quickly. There's no fiber to help manage the slow release of the blood sugar. That's why fiber is so great. Same thing with protein. And so what happens is your body starts elevating the blood sugar. And then if you get too high level of blood sugar, your body says, hey, pancreas, let's get some insulin out here, right? And so insulin starts being produced, and insulin is there to help sugar get into the cell. So, because high levels of blood sugar are unsafe for us. So once your blood sugar drops, then you go into that. If you go up too high, you produce too much insulin, and then you hit that crash because your body lets too much into the cell to try and protect you. And so then you get more into that tired. This is why you see kids, if they go to a kid's birthday party, an hour later, they're like, like zonked out in the car, right? Because they had a good sugar rush and crash. Okay, that's what's happening. So, same thing's happening with you, only as adults, we get tired and we tend to compensate with coffee and, more sugar or whatever it may be. So, something that could be really helpful is just adding little pieces of fiber into your diet, adding higher amounts of protein. So fiber, whole grains, almonds is really great. Watching your level of carbohydrate and the sugar, like look at the sugar level on the labels of what you guys are eating is going to be really helpful. If you haven't started that process, just start just looking at the labels, looking at the total sugar. If you look down at the label, if you see the first ingredient is high fructose corn syrup, you want to put that back. You want to put that baby back, because what that means is the first ingredient in our products, it's literally the highest level of what's in the product. So if the product you're about to eat has the highest level of high fructose corn syrup, that's absolutely not the product that you want to be eating, because you are going to have that type of sugar crash. Okay. So getting some fiber, and apple is actually very low glycemic and has some fiber in the skin as well. Anything you can do to get some fiber in there, and then some water intake will help with you feeling more full, as well as slowing down that blood sugar. So I hope that's helpful for you in understanding the issue. And, again, if you do have some of these symptoms, and if you guys are just joining, I'm Dr. Misty Kaziesko. We're talking about how to kick blood sugar addiction today and sugar cravings. So if you guys are interested, I'm going to post a link below for you with the names of the supplements that I recommended. The zinc, the magnesium, the L-tyrosine, and the D or DL phenylalanine. Those are amino acids, the building blocks for dopamine to help coming off addiction. So I hope you found that helpful. Again, this is something that many people suffer with, and I believe suffer with silently. And there's a lot more behind sugar addiction than just people thinking that somebody loves sugar or is just making bad choices or whatever. There's a huge chemistry behind it. So just know that you aren't alone. And, if this resonates with you and this is helpful to you, please share with your friends. I want to get this message out there that people can absolutely help themselves with this issue. It just means creating a little bit more awareness. I just wanted to touch on one thing before I go. I did mention a couple other things. So that could be the cause of sugar addiction. If you've tried all these things and it doesn't work, there's a couple other things that you may want to consider. There's an immune issue or some sort of immune issue going on, or there's an overgrowth of yeast and candida in your GI tract. And so you would know this by either if you've taken a lot of antibiotics in the past, more recently than not, and you've been on like antibiotics with prednisone, things like that. So basically the antibiotics is going to clear out all the good bacteria of your GI tract and allow for more yeast and more bugs to get into your gut. So yeast feeds on sugar. It grows on sugar. So if you're doing all this and you just can't get this under control, that's something that you want to consider. And so there's a different protocol for that, but that is something that's also very prominent, especially with the number of people that are taking antibiotics. It's you're not necessarily, you're going to notice maybe some, definitely some fatigue, some foggy brains. They're kind of just general symptoms. So again, just something to consider if you guys do try this and you're still suffering. The other thing you can do is contact me. I'm happy to help you. Send me a message, or book a virtual call with me. I'm happy to help you guys get this under control if you're really suffering. So thanks so much. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you got some value out of that. Stay strong, and we'll see you on the next one.